Pirate Software drama has been blowing up online over the past few weeks ever since he spearheaded a campaign against the Stop Killing Games initiative. And one could argue this drama is definitely a result of that, as now a lot more eyes are on Pirate Software, aka Thor, and last week it led YouTuber Coding Jesus to review Thor's dev streams, where Thor goes live and edits the game he's working on called Heartbound. Coding Jesus claims that in these dev streams hardly any programming actually gets done, along with reviewing certain snippets of code that are shown on screen during these streams and telling you the viewer why he believes they're bad or inefficient. Now, I'm not a coding guy, so I'd recommend watching his video linked in the description if you haven't already, but the internet has been reacting to this feud between Jesus and Pirate, analyzing Thor's claims about Heartbound, such as that it literally runs on a smart fridge, saying that this is false, and also going over his monthly updates, and showing that they believe there is no progress being made on the game whatsoever. Welcome to the internet versus Pirate Software's code. It starts when CoolItXCore posts this clip on the Livestream Fail subreddit with the title, Pirate Software answers a chatter's question about the status of Heartbound's monthly updates.
Are you working on Heartbound right now because everyone's making videos about you not finishing the game? I'm not working on Heartbound right now. I'm working on Block Game. I release an update for Heartbound on the first week of every month. All those people who are making videos about that are fucking morons. They should probably just check the Steam updates. That's like, there's literally an update that goes out the first week of every month. Insane behavior. Yeah, they're just content farming. Like here, I'll even show it to you, man. Even though people are like review bombing the shit out of the game. Here, boop. You can just go down here and see the announcements right here. You can actually see all of the patch notes. They're all there, right? It's all in there. You just go see it yourself, going all the way back, right? So like, right? So people that are saying that the game never gets worked on or has been abandoned are lying to you. Like, provably. So, don't fall for that weird bullshit. Yeah, it's like really easy to debunk that. Now that I'm not doing like off-brand stuff though, I could probably spend some more time working on Heartbound each month, which is cool. And then I can get some more shit done, which is neat.
And Bragdress replies, I invite anyone curious to take a look at these updates on the Steam page and their dates. There's a reason he's scrolling past so many so quickly. It's all I'm gonna say. And Heroin Bob replies, okay, showing the May 28th update has no new content besides a new facial expression and mostly arbitrary timing updates, which boils down to changing a number or two in an array. On May 1st, he added a conversation path with a character named Road, added some strings to an existing array, and fixed a game crash bug. March 2nd, there's a new way to access whatever the clash is, changed some dialogue text, and fixed some audio bugs. February 1st, he added a pound symbol to the game font, extended a storyline, possibly dialogue, more string and arrays, added a quit button, and a long list of bug fixes. April 1st, he did an April Fool's, it's not an actual update. December 25th, 2023, new facial expressions for 2 characters, added effects to 2 characters' cutscenes, added pause options to pause key, I swear that's on the list. Space can accept, a cancel button on a controller can close a menu. 1.5 years of work got players new facial expressions for 3 characters, some more dialogue options in already existing dialogue trees, and some bug fixes for code he already wrote. This is, at most, a few weeks worth of work for someone who sits at their home office all day talking about how good of a programmer they are. 1.5 years is embarrassing. This is not a list of actual updates. This is the equivalent of saying you're working on your book when all you're doing is finding synonyms for words you already wrote and changing the font from Calibri to Times New Roman. And Novel Seed replies, no update in April. Bare minimum updates. Actual fraudster. Servilis replies, wasn't this his game in December? Steam considered it abandonware. Showing this screenshot that shows it's an early access game with this yellow highlighted note that says, the last update made by the developers was over 13 months ago. The information and timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date. And the Rabid Monkey replies, yeah, and now he changes a few strings and we'll never see that again. And Slats replies, he also coincidentally started updating the game again right after the Steam abandoned tag got added after a year of not touching it. Now he seems to mostly be doing the game dev equivalent of a kid pushing food around their plates so it looks like they're eating. The Maxter replies, he only showed the 2025 updates since Valve changed the system to flag abandoned early access games, and 2024 was one update in April. He was maxing so much his stream persona, he forgot he has actually a game to deliver. And Slippery Sparky replies with this picture that says, he's only a tad bit behind schedule. When will Heartbound launch? We are hoping to fully finish and release the game by December 2017. Right now, we are a bit behind and trying to catch up to make sure we hit that release date. If at any time that becomes impossible, we will let all of you know on all of our social media platforms. To ensure the community knows we are working diligently, we host a stream every weekday from 12 to 3 PST on Twitch. Educational Lake replies, minuscule tweaks like moving around menu text and changing sound effect timings are not real updates. His game is progressing slower than Yandere Simulator. And Arid replies, Yandev, suddenly not the worst game developer in existence anymore, although it's still pretty close. And Hanks Panky replies, morally, I think Yandere Dev still loses. He thinks little kids should earn S licenses so adults can bang children. It was proudly on his site's frequently asked questions for a long time. Might still be there. Crazy says, didn't he recently say that he was working on it every day? And Few Conversation replies, said he didn't sleep because he was working on it. Must be hard for him navigating his web of lies at this point. And Snowy Cleavage replies, either a web of lies or a web of his shit code. Over on r/programmer humor, Brilliant Lobster posts this picture with the caption, we could never track down what was causing performance issues. Showing an update post from Heartbound with the same caption, we could never track down what was causing this issue. And then this code on the right, which if you don't know what it means, OP replies explaining it. It was also in Code Jesus's video, where Mini Cactpot Broker replies, wait a moment, is this code real? Looks like he checks collision for every point of sprite twice? Once is stupid, but twice? Dude doubles down even in code. And OP replies, it's used for some gradient objects and lightning effects in Heartbound. And yes, those are collision checks happening for every pixel across the sprite. A 100 by 100 sprite becomes 10,000 collision checks every frame. And Stammet replies, what in the actual fuck? Mabot says, for a total noob like me, what would an optimization for this look like? And Abermere replies, I would put a bigger bounding box around the entire sprite. No need to check for collisions if other objects are not close. Then maybe I would devise a way to figure out where another object is coming from, and I would only test pixels that are close to it. Also, I would create a map that only has the outline of the sprite, so I only test against the border. So I would reduce that 10,000 checks to maybe 30 per frame. And Strange Curry says, an easy optimization would be to use Game Maker's built-in lighting and shader functions. He is doing everything manually in an insanely stupid way. Also over on LSF, Difficult Lack posts this thread with the title, Can Heartbound run on a smart fridge? According to games dev Pirate Software, Jason Thor Hall, the game literally runs on a smart fridge. Attaching this clip.
Literally runs on a smart fridge.
He will also show a video of his editor recording the game running on a smart fridge, attaching this video.
Who here has not seen the smart fridge video? We'll watch it again for the 50th time today. If you get Heartbound working on a smart fridge, I will send you a challenge coin. Game again. On. Do the roar. It's becoming a meme? Should be. Again. I believe he's the only person in the world that has two outside of me. Bro, this is cinema? Yes. There's that same lighting system. So no, I don't need to update the performance. I need to keep writing so I can finish my game. Thanks, though.
And the thread continues, the thing is, according to the same video, we can see that the fridge does not run the game. The fridge is used as a screen. The game is running on his laptop and being streamed to the fridge using his Raspberry Pi as a network divide. Attaching this image here as a screenshot from the video that we just watched. The statement continues, it's all in the video, showing this image with a laptop connecting to a Raspberry Pi, then connecting to a power bank. And the document continues, the game is played in an Android virtual machine in his laptop, and then it's streamed to the smart fridge, showing this image of the laptop from the video, and then showing this picture saying connecting to a Heartbridge. The post continues, we tried to reach Steets, Pirate Software's editor, for answers about the fridge video, but not a single response till now. I wonder why. Also from a friend on Discord, and they attach this screenshot that says, here's the details of the fridge, rescued from the old channel, so if anyone wants to pin it, be my guest. A, in the video you see connecting to Heartbridge, the name of the laptop and the hotspot connection he set up. You can see the name displayed when he logged logs onto the Chromebook. B. He uses the fridge for display and inputs and it starts the game from a loaded state, but doesn't go any farther. You see the main character get up and out of bed, the default animation the game runs. C. I have a similar fridge, different model, same manufacturer, and you can't run apps on it. It's a locked down Tizen OS with security, but there's an API to respond to the touch input. D. It uses technology called Smart View. It's the same as broadcasting a movie from your iPad to a big screen TV. The movie isn't running on the TV, it's running on the iPad. E. The guy decompiles/recompiles Heartbound to target Android so it can respond to touch input and change the aspect ratio. It's assigned APK probably to deploy to the Pi that he shows to run the app. And F. The fridge runs the Tizen OS, which is Linux based but can't run generic Android apps, but they have the API in Smart View. Only apps in the Samsung App Store can be run on the fridge. This is a lot of speculation based on the video and uneducated guesses. Time will tell if the author will respond to the requests made to clarify things, since we know Pirate Software won't. He keeps claiming it runs on a smart fridge. Hope that clears things up for everyone. And they continue their post. Also, the reason of this post is to remember that the Roach will never back down from his lies. He will also change his discourse with time, probably to it was all a joke or something. Anyway, have a good week. Terminal replies, wasn't the performance complaint specifically about the lighting system? I don't get what he's trying to prove just by the game running at a random point on our fridge. Nobody argued the entire game ran poorly. Unless this lighting system is active the entire game, he could have easily shown that the dude in the Coding Jesus video forced the lighting system to run constantly on a large sprite and that it wasn't that much of an issue as it's made out to be. But I guess this is way more of an epic hacker gotcha by showing it running on a fridge. Edit, so the lighting system is active the entire game according to Pirate, but since it's not actually running on the fridge, it's hilarious he gave him the coin for that. Emperor Azura replies, his point is that it doesn't matter if the code is 1,000 times slower than the alternative that Coding Jesus' guest showed, game still runs and he is not going to kneel for that. So as a dev, he is simply putting it all in on it just runs and never went as far as saying the build is 8 years old and that the code practices is okay, because why would he change it if it works? Since he is not a Blizzard employee anymore, he can sign up for Todd Howard, second in command in Bethesda, since coding and performance is not a thing in his books. Warbling Wombat replies, yeah dude, some people just can't handle being wrong. Insane behavior. My game could run on a smart fridge, the code is so efficient. Checks phone. Anyway, I solved the puzzle while I worked at Blizzard in security. Then this person named Oxcrow posts a screenshot of Coding Jesus' recent video and captions it, Coding Jesus criticizes Pirate Software, saying he should have written his code in an efficient way. Kindly note that Thor's game runs efficiently even on a refrigerator, yet they aren't satisfied as their intention isn't to provide a constructive criticism. It's something else. Pirate Software himself then replies to this post by saying, I had a few thousand people dogpile into my stream about this today. 1. I chose to do pixel by pixel CPU-based lighting over using a shader to ensure the system was compatible with machines that could not compile shaders. This was helpful for a number of regions, such as Brazil, where the game has been very popular. 2. Heartbound's native functional resolution is 360p, meaning the normal lighting assets are less than 100 by 100 on the highest end. At no time would any asset be 800 pixels wide, and as such, the performance benchmark they made is meaningless. The lighting, when used correctly, increases CPU usage over baseline a negligible amount and runs on both a smart fridge and handhelds with zero performance issues. What they did is like driving a manual, not knowing how to use a clutch, and then blaming the car. 3. All of this was written in GMS 1.4 back in 2018. A massive number of modern features in GM did not exist then. Updating this now would give trivial benefits to performance without any gameplay improvements. The framework is functional, performant, and shipped. It does not need to change as a result. 4. The only bottleneck in development is writing. It's a choose-your-own-adventure game. I take weeks to do the writing, and implementation is roughly an hour for 3 weeks of writing or more. The framework is what it needs to be quick, harmless, out of the way, and easy to develop so I can focus on content. 5. Doing all of this off decompiled code and proudly displaying that is dubious at best. A number of oddities are present, and there are examples that are not in the source. The legality of doing this is also subject. At no time have I given permission for decompilation, nor is the source code publicly available. 6. I have been releasing monthly updates for Heartbound since January. All of these can be seen in the Steam announcements on the games page. The last one was May 28th for the June update. I released it early as I was visiting the EU for TwitchCon. All these videos have done is mislead an audience of hundreds of thousands about the inner workings of a piece of software. They did this using biased and sometimes false information in order to push a narrative that I am incompetent in my field. Anyway, hope they enjoy the witch hunt for views and selling more $350 an hour resume review slots. Lol. Wizardy replies, I'm not up to date on all the drama, but I've coded in GML for 20 years and saw the Coding Jesus' video. The criticisms of Pirate Software's coding are almost entirely criticisms against GameMaker/GML itself. I haven't cringed so hard hard edit video in a while. And Hack the developer replies to Pirate by saying, from one dev to another, one, there are better ways to do this. Your way works, but that shouldn't be the reason not to make it better. Plus, it can be used as a fallback for the edge case where computers can't compile shaders, like your case with the people in Brazil. 2. See above. Just because Heartbound runs at 360p isn't an excuse to possibly run 100 by 100 by X checks in the worst case. Optimization of this single piece of code will give every other system Heartbound uses more time to do cool things. 3. You have since upgraded to GameMaker 2.3, and you now have 7 more years of experience under your belt. Yeah, the code works, but you changed from who you were back then, so why not your code as well? 4. From the little I saw, the bottleneck isn't writing, it's putting what you wrote into the game. It's all hard-coded, where it could be done with external files and metadata to have your framework put those lines in the right place. It's only going to get exponentially worse in the best case. Take it from someone who tried to implement a plugin system in Java. 5. Heartbound runs in GameMaker through a VM that uses an extensively documented bytecode, much like how Java runs in the JVM. This bytecode basically decompiles back to the original source with a few caveats. You can configure GameMaker to compile straight to native bytecode, which would make your argument land more. But if you didn't want people decompiling your code, how would they solve the ARG? Since as far as I know, you need to do that. I could be wrong though. 6. Not to beat a dead horse, but it's July 15th. I would even accept a post on the Steam page with, hey, sorry, didn't get anything meaningful done because of TwitchCon, here's what I'm working on, because that's better than nothing, and it'll keep the trolls at bay since it's technically an update. And Pirate replies, 1. There are, but updating that now is irrelevant. We don't need a refactor, I need to finish writing the game. This shit literally doesn't matter. 2. Same as 1, 3. Same as 1 and 2, and 4. False. I spend all of my time writing. Implementation is simple and writing is hard as hell. Welcome to choose your own adventure games. Shit's a branching tree with a ton of dialogue options. 5. Decompilation is not required for solving the ARG. Some steps require hooking or modifying the client in runtime. This is not decompilation. And 6. Fair. I announced it on Steam and Discord. Our Steam page is currently being brigaded by sub 1 hour playtime reviews that attack any poster that likes the game. These guys are buying the game to review and then refunding, as we can see in sales analytics. I'm fine with waiting on a Steam announcement until it patches out to avoid unnecessary bullshit. Nathan Algren replies, why is it so impossible for you to just say thanks for the advice, some good ideas in there? You don't even have to do shit. Just be nice. Jesus. And Pirate replies, to a dude throwing up out of mana shit from World of Warcraft HC 6 months ago in his takedown video of my work history? On what planet should I be nice in response to that? Showing this screenshot from the video that Coding Jesus made, where it includes a section of code that is a joke, where there's text like, I can't hear you, I'm out of mana joke, and other various jokes about Pirate. And Nathan replies, I just think you spend too much time responding to people you will never meet or interact with personally. That's all. It can't be healthy for you. And Pirate says, walking the goalpost back and concern trolling about my mental health doesn't work, my dude. If you don't like me, then don't like me and go on with your life. Shit is easy. And Grimace Shaker replies, saying an objectively true fact about how it's unhealthy to be consistently freaking out over random retards fucking with you on the internet equals concern trolling about mental health. Sounds good? Sounds good to me. I agree. Stone Chat tweets out this image with the caption, did bro just reinvent the if statement? Showing this screenshot of code with Pirate Software at the bottom right. Cleo replies, you clearly have no idea who this man is. He worked at Blizzard for 7 years. He is clearly smarter than you and knows more about programming, and wow. And Stone Chat replies, clearly a man of insane merit. Pork replies, the hate for Thor is tiresome. I admittedly don't know much about coding, but he still made a playable game with a good story. Everyone loves dogpiling about his Blizzard employment and always conveniently leaves out the government work and the multiple black badges. And Stone Chat says, this is a joke post, but also, government work does not mean he writes good and maintainable code. And Pork replies, point taken, but it's still not a compelling reason to continue the hate dogpile. You knew the comments and reactions you'd get. Also, I've watched the guy plenty and I've never once heard him make the claim to be a genius coder like you all claim he has. Thor himself replies to this by saying, going to correct this here as well, attaching a reply to a separate post he made with the same screenshot where he says, that is not a finished block and is a snippet while developing that cutscene. There's absolutely no reason to make a switch statement in this way where one option does nothing. At the time of this screenshot, I had not yet built out the entire storyline section for Road and her associated routes. That's why it states do nothing for that time period as an indicator that I need to develop down that route. I also leave to-dos for myself in the same way. I've seen this screenshot a lot and it's silly to think that this was finished and in production. It's not a gotcha, it's incomplete work being posed as finished work. Robin replies, You don't have to defend yourself against this bullshit. Just relax, man, and focus on what's fun to you. They will just make you bitter over time. Just ignore them. Ducky posts this clip on the Pirate Software subreddit with the title, Pirates' Thoughts on Making an Apology Video.
Put up a video saying you were wrong with every situation and the internet move on. I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great idea, dude. Yeah, no, eat shit.
And Stakia says, I like the pause in his reply. He's looking for the messenger to personally ban him. And Relevant says, he's going to run out of people to ban at this rate. Holmesy says, he makes it so easy to hate this guy. And Wonderful Gap replies, he does the textbook thing that you aren't supposed to do. I'm starting to think that he's not an egomaniac. I think he might just be really, really dumb. Shaun of Dawn replies, I'm saving this post in case the consequences of his actions catch up to the point he needs to make that apology video. And Unicorn Hunter says, if he does, he will blame others and play victim. As usual. Human Peace says, I don't give a fuck. Proceeds to make a tweet about the situation to delete it later. And Everdark Raven replies, proceeds to go to YouTube videos about him to downvote comments. Kaelder says, and this is why I will never feel bad for all the hate he gets. His ego will be his downfall and I am here for it. And Schmarston replies, his ego is the only reason he keeps getting posted nowadays. Now I won't lie, I'm late to the Pirate Software drama. This is my first video on it. I could go back and do an internet versus Stop Killing Games and those kind of things and cover a lot of the old Pirate Software drama that's happened over the past few weeks. If you'd be interested in that, let me know in the comments below. I will gladly do it. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, South, and Coldest Bandito. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.